President Obama has adopted a policy of steadily increasing sanctions in response to Russian actions. But many in Congress, both Democrats and Republicans, say his efforts have been inadequate and are pushing for tougher, quicker sanctions. Where do you stand on this?
I supported, the moment the Russians went into Crimea, the toughest sanctions. Completely. I mean, we have to get our allies on board. We've got to get Germany on board. Obviously, that's important to Russian trade. But I said it publicly on television. I said that if we don't do the toughest sanctions against Russia, including freezing all bank accounts, including basically a suspension of trade, then they're going to go into eastern Ukraine next. And I wish I'd been wrong, but 2 weeks later, there we are. And then we don't do enough in eastern Ukraine, and it moves to Odessa. We have to take a strong stand early. One of the best ways to avoid the use of military force is to use sanctions in a powerful way early. Sanctions can be very powerful. They brought Iran to the negotiating table. They ended apartheid in South Africa. I think President Obama has been way too slow, way too weak, and I got to tell you, that's why Poland and Lithuania and Latvia and Estonia, our NATO allies, are very nervous. And if they do something in NATO, well, that means it's a worldwide war. So we have to use sanctions now so it doesn't come to that.
Yeah, the situation in Ukraine is clearly shaping up to be a civil war, and it's one that we should all take very seriously and be concerned about. The president is starting to really tighten the screws, but I do agree with Mark. It should have been much, much sooner. I would support more stricter sanctions, economic ones. We should look not just at bank accounts, freezing assets, but we should also look at mining. We should look at oil and gas, things that really hit them very hard. And I know the concern is that I think a lot of people in Europe is that this would hurt them a lot more than us. But I think that we've really got to be tough with Putin. He can no longer be a bully in Ukraine. And I agree with Mark. I mean, he's not going to stop unless we stop him. And so I agree with those in Congress that are calling for tougher sanctions. I've been critical that the president has not been strong enough on this. And I hope that we do get tougher because it's something that is making a lot of people nervous.